So if you watched the first video, you would have got some context on my backstory and what I achieved for my podcast on day 1, day 2, and the pretty incredible feat that I achieved on day 3. And I also let you know that by day 13, I achieved 1,000 downloads. I did this without ads, I did this without a huge social media following, and I didn't have anything close to studio-like production. So let me go through the things that I did that hopefully you can do if you're about to launch your podcast. Number 1 is I told everyone I knew. Friends, family, the people who I did have on social media, my clients, people I met in the street, whoever would listen, I told them that I was launching a podcast. And I feel that when a lot of people launch their podcasts, they're quite shy. They're a little bit nervous about how it's going to be received by the world, and therefore they don't tell that many people about it. But if you're someone with a small audience who wants to make a big impact, you have to tell people. The unfortunate thing about podcasting is there's no algorithmic feed that's pushing content in people's direction. The main way that it grows, unless you rank on the charts, is by peer-to-peer sharing. So you need to make sure that you start spreading the word first so that other people can do the same. Number 2 is I built up on social media. Even if you've got 10 followers, or even if you've got 100, if you've got 500, even better, if you've got 1,000, even better, it doesn't matter the size of your audience, still utilize social media to your advantage. Because even if only 10% of your audience are engaged, if you've got 100 followers, you've got 10 potential listeners there. If you've got 1,000 followers, you've got 100 potential listeners there. And the beauty of Instagram and TikTok especially is that your content will probably be shared to people who don't actually know you. So if you do this really exciting building first about what you're planning, your project is a secret project, and then maybe on your Instagram stories, you start revealing what that might be, then you reveal it's a podcast, then you do a countdown and the lead up to it, you show the behind the scenes of everything, people will get involved, people will get excited. And the more sneak peeks that you share and the more that you make it look interesting, you might make it even look more interesting than it actually is. I'm sure we've all seen movies before where the trailer was maybe better than the movie. It doesn't matter. You want to capture people's attention, and you also want to trust that your podcast will get better in time. So utilize social media to your advantage. It's there for a reason. It's a free resource and it will help your podcast grow. Number 3 is that I told my clients, and I told them first, before my followers, before anyone else. So if you're running a small business right now, you have this advantage. Tell your clients, tell your customers, and make them feel special that you're sharing it with them first. And when the podcast eventually goes live, maybe send an email out to them specifically before you announce it anywhere else. Your clients or customers have bought into you before, whether it be you as a person, your service, your product. So it's more than likely that they're going to be interested in a podcast that you're going to create. The beautiful thing for mine is that I was a health and fitness coach, helping people with their health and fitness, and I created a health and fitness podcast. So I knew my clients would be interested, and it's highly likely that you're doing something that your clients and customers will be interested in too. So tell them, make them feel like they're getting the exclusive, because they should be, and they are. And remember, these are the people who are going to be most interested in what you're doing, maybe outside of your family, so make sure you tell them, and you tell them first. Number 4, I was on my laptop and my phone all day trying to share this as far and wide as possible. One thing that seemed to work really well is I messaged my friends and I asked them, hey, I just launched a podcast, can you please share this on your stories, even if you don't listen to it? And a fair few people did. Maybe 5, 6, 7 of my friends posted it to their stories, which was amazing because then their audience was seeing my podcast being displayed to them. And once again, when you're getting started, it's about as many eyes as possible. Not every single person who sees your podcast is going to click and listen, but to a degree, it is a game of numbers. So if you can get it out to 1,000 people instead of 100, it is definitely worth your while. And anytime someone would share the podcast, I would reshare it on my stories. I would continue to message people, let everyone know. So on your launch day, take it very, very seriously and try and spread the word as far and wide as possible. And you also want to be on your phone and laptop to make sure everything goes smoothly, to make sure your scheduled emails go out, the links work, your podcast has been uploaded. That's a big one when you're getting started. I'll tell you a story. A few days before my launch, I was stressing about my podcast going live because of on my platform, I didn't realize this, but you can mark your podcast as active or inactive. So my podcast was there. I didn't know why it wasn't ready to go. I just had to toggle the button to active. And of course I found it out before I launched and everything went okay, but you want to be there just to check that everything goes as smoothly as planned. And if it doesn't, then you can make up for it sooner rather than later. Number 5, and maybe one of the most underrated yet most valuable tip that I'm going to give you today, is that I released 3 episodes on my launch day. So many people miss this step, and it's so crucial. Think about it this way. If your episodes aren't 2 to 3 hours long, and maybe they range between 5 and 30 minutes, there's a good chance that the listeners will listen to all 3 of your episodes on your launch day. And even if they just listen to one, they might subscribe and download to the other 2, which is going to help you with your downloads, which is going to help you with your launch, and it's also going to give you a much better chance of ranking in the global charts. Another reason why you should take this seriously is take Netflix as an example. When they release a series, usually they release the entire series, or they release maybe 3 episodes. They never just release 1 episode. And that's probably because they know that on average, people don't just watch 1 episode. Maybe they watch 2, maybe they watch 3. Some people may even binge watch the entire series. And they want to take advantage of your interest and your attention in the series. And you should do the same with your podcast listeners. If you've planned out this launch, if you've told everyone you know, and then you just show up with 1 episode, it's gonna be amazing, but it's gonna be a little bit underwhelming. That's what I personally think anyway. Especially if you're releasing weekly or bi-weekly, you are literally making your listeners wait an entire 7 to 14 days until they get to listen to your podcast again. And when I launch podcasts in the future, which I'm going to, you can bet that I am going to release 3 episodes on the launch day. So those are the 5 key steps that I believe you need to take to maximize your downloads in the early stages and get to your first 1,000 and potentially even your first 10,000 in the very early stages of your podcasting journey. I hope that helps, and if you've got any questions or comments, put them down below and I'll make sure that I look at them and respond to them all. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, share it with a friend that might find it valuable, and subscribe to the channel whilst you're here as well. Take care, and I'll see you all on the next video.